All right, guys. Welcome to another good post-squat day mobility session. We're going to start off with 3 minutes in a seated straddle. Once you get your legs out, tension in the inner thighs, hands behind the legs next to your glutes, pushing up with the hips, keeping the ankles in place. I find a place where I've got a nice stretch here. Maintain this, even if I can't bring my chest forward. As much as you can bring your chest forward, keeping the heels on the ground. Find a good starting position. Let the lower back round and curve forward. We're at 30 seconds right now. And go ahead and settle into a standard 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, 4 and 4, 6 and 6. As long as you're having the same tempo, inhale and exhale. We're coming up on a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and get some breathing work in myself. Remember to surrender to the pose over time. Don't try to force anything, and enjoy it. If you wanna walk your hands forward, it's gonna give you a better stretch too. Let gravity do its job. Focus on your breathing, especially when you're uncomfortable. And we're halfway, guys. Feeling a great stretch in the hamstrings, the bottoms of the legs touching the ground, the inner thighs, as well as the lower back. We've got 30 seconds left. Breathing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and easy. We're going to set up for a cross shins pose. This is like sitting Indian style in school. If you've got awesome mobility in the knees, which I don't, you may take this inside foot, bring it here, like you see the real yogis do. If you can do that, awesome. Timer starts now. We're doing 2 minutes here. But once I get my lower body set, I find a spot that's going to be a little challenging. Place the hands in front. Most of the time end up with the forearms on the ground, but just start where you feel a good stretch. Settle into your breathing cadence. 5 in, 5 out. And enjoy this time to recover. Let the thoughts flow. Know that over time you're increasing range of motion, increasing your sleep quality, and recovering better from your workouts. Consistency is key. Longevity is the goal. Surrendering to the poses, especially in the targeted areas where it feels tight and uncomfortable. Think of not actively flexing and fighting, Instead, try to surrender. Let it be uncomfortable. Focus on your breathing. Breathing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out, 4, 3, 2, 1. We've got 20 seconds left here. Come out of that one and just cross our shins the opposite way. So find where you're comfortable. Again, the more challenging version is to bring this foot inside the leg here. And then if you're able to bring this leg down far enough, this foot comes on top. If you're in the beginner's mode like I am, and maybe intermediate, go ahead and set up Indian style. Timer starts now, 2 minutes. If it's any comfort, know that I am uncomfortable right along with you. I've seen what these routines have done in my training, my recovery, my mental health. This is an extremely high gain activity where we're going to accomplish several things with 15 to 20 minutes a day. Several things at the same time. And hopefully save you money if I can do a halfway decent job so you don't have to buy one more app subscription for $20 every month. And those apps are great though. We're already halfway. Surrendering to the poses over time, letting the body do what it does, always focusing on our breathing. Anytime you're uncomfortable, come back to your breath. Seconds left. Try to surrender. Don't tense and fight the difficult, tight muscles. Also, don't push it too far. You're still going to get the benefits without trying to force any range of motion, which is never advised. And if you finished a little lower than when you started, especially on the first side to the second side, beginning to end, you'll know that you're doing well with the poses. All right, so our next one we're gonna set up for is gonna be our pigeon pose. Classic pose here. Biggest key that I find here, unless you're crazy Gumby flexible and you can bring this foot out to a 90 with your leg, which some people can, it's pretty rare, to have just a nice, comfortable angle here. The thigh on this side is vertical, and just like our lizard pose, we don't want to achieve depth by dropping this hip down and having the hips twist. So my back leg is straight, my hips are squared, along with my shoulders straight to the ground. If you want a deeper stretch, you can move that back knee back, but my knee is flat on the ground. Timer starts now. We've got 3 minutes. This is a long pose, so we've got time. What I find, rather than dropping this hip, if I'm keeping my hips square, I start with my weight on this arm, on this side, and I find that I get a really nice stretch. I actually kind of have to lean to the right a little to stay square. I don't want to lean too far, but you'll notice that'll really keep the tension in the knee, the IT band. Keeping the hips and shoulders squared straight toward the ground is the key. As I get deeper in the pose, I may slide my right knee back some, but I'll notice that my left hip that is several inches off the ground, if I breathe and breathe through the discomfort. I usually end up with that hip a lot closer to the ground, sometimes on the ground, but always in a deeper finishing position than my starting position. So we've got 2 minutes left. I'm gonna shut up, stick with your breathing cadence. Slowly letting positions develop. Not fighting or tensing. We're practicing being uncomfortable here. This is gonna transfer to our workouts as well. If you want a deeper stretch, you can slide that back knee back. Maybe shift your weight back like you're pushing your butt back in a child's pose. If your chest is able to come to the ground, you can put your arms flat out ahead. Carefully, over time, getting deeper into positions, never forcing them. And we've got 1 minute left on this side. Roll out to the side, come out of that position however you'd like. Go ahead and set up for our pigeon. Right side. I forgot to mention this, but everyone's gonna have one side that's tighter than the other. Most poses. All right, timer starts now, 3 minutes. My right side pigeon. If you paid any attention, or if you noticed, my hips higher off the ground. This side's tighter. It's also harder for me to keep the hips from rotating right and keep my hips square with my back knee flat, so I cheat over a little to my left, just enough tension to keep my hips square with my shoulders. This one's a little more uncomfortable for me, so I take my time. We're 30 seconds in. Also remembering you can make little micro adjustments, especially as you start to sink deeper into each pose. If you need to make any adjustments, or if you need to stop any pose at any time, take a break, pause the video, or just take a breather and come back in when you're ready. We're already coming up on a minute, so we're gonna have 2 minutes. Try to focus on that breathing cadence. Focus on your breath when it's uncomfortable. And I'm doing this with you every day. Thirty seconds left, guys. 30 more seconds. Messed up the timer, surprise. Time. Come out of it hopefully slower than I did. All right, so we're gonna set up now for our last pose. This is gonna be our saddle pose. I put a medicine ball behind where my back is gonna finish. Sometimes I can lie down on it, some days I can't. All right, so we've got time. This is gonna be a long pose, guys. This is gonna be a 4-minute pose. Starting now, saddle pose, hands behind you, remembering to take your time. Ladies and flexible men who haven't power lifted their whole life, you may be able to lie all the way on the ground. That's phenomenal. You're still gonna get a lot of great work, even maintaining that kind of flexibility. If you have tighter knees, tighter hip flexors, lower back, and you're about where I am on mobility, or even higher. I started out about here years ago. So all this comes with time. As I get deeper into this pose, and I'm able to soften through the quads, the hip flexors, the knees, the ankles. Sometimes I lie down on the medicine ball. It's a great prop to have. I'm also careful to work my hands further out, whatever I need to do, as I notice that my legs are gonna let my torso go down. Remember to be patient, let the body do its job. The stretch will run its course. Got a minute and a half left. If you are using a medicine ball and you're getting good depth, you can start to slowly shift it back to let your chest come down, your back come down further to the ground. Or you can hang out here or wherever your pose is, hands on the ground, maybe lying down flat. This is the last minute of our routine. This is where it's the toughest. Breathe. Focus on your breathing cadence. Come back to your breath. Seconds left almost. nose nice and slow. Being especially careful with the lower back. I'm gonna cut this one off. Please enjoy 2 to 4 to 5 minutes or however long you'd like of a rebound. Lie down flat, let your thoughts flow, and enjoy the work you just did. Enjoy the feeling of accomplishment after the work you just did.